We're live on Twitch and the Facebook. What's up, Twitch? What's up, Facebook? This is Clicks and Bricks. My name is Ken. We're going to get started here in about 2 minutes with today's episode. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope everybody's destroying whatever they're working on. I've had a couple of good days since Friday last week. So, pretty excited and pumped up. If you notice, we made a couple of changes. I got this new mic stand, so if the audio is a little bit better, let me know. Or if it still sucks, let me know too. Are you picking up my tapping, Chris? Is it like really loud in the mic? It's decent. I mean, I know you can hear it, but before it was like... Okay. Hope everybody's enjoying the weather. It's a beautiful day out today. I'm stuck in the office all day. I did get to get out for a while though. All right, less than a minute and we'll get started. We're working on a countdown, so you don't have to just look at me while we're getting started, while we're going live on everywhere. It's kind of weird, probably. Gives people time to get in. All right, it's noon. Welcome back, everybody, to today's episode of Clicks and Bricks, where we talk about business and technology. If you like business and technology, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button at the bottom. If you would like to join my personal text line community, my number is 314-370-2871. That's my personal text line community. Just send that text message to that number. You can just say hi and to be added, or you can ask me any question you want about technology or business or boxing if you want. I don't care. I'll talk about those things all day long in depth. So join the community. It's a lot of fun. Tips and tricks. You might get 1 or 2 texts from me a month. Nothing too crazy, and I'll never try to sell you anything on that text line. Everything's 100% free, and I'm never going to ask you to buy anything on there. I might send you some like deals and some special like things that I think are really cool, or like, you know, I did one a couple months ago when If This Then This was doing a special deal, $1.99 a month for, you know, the lifetime of the system. So, but I won't try to sell you anything directly. I promise that. Today's episode is brought to you as always by Enlink.com. Rapport made easy. My Enlink.com account is enlink.com/Ken. It's fantastic because that's the only URL I have to give out to anybody. And they have all of my different social media profiles. They have my Cash App. They have my LinkedIn business profile, my personal LinkedIn profile, my Facebook business pages, and my personal pages, along with my goofy stuff like TikTok and the stuff that I play with. So I think we even got Clubhouse added on there. If we don't have Clubhouse added on there, they'll get it soon. So today's first topic is Pixel 6 is getting smarter. The Tensor chip. So Google made this Tensor chip. I think they went into development in 2016, and it's been in production in their data center since 2017. And the Tensor chip is an AI processor. So they're not going to go from the Qualcomm chips anymore in the Pixel 6. They're going to go to this AI chip. And right out of the gate, all the features they're talking about are improved camera quality. So they're going to use artificial intelligence to do computative images instead of traditional photography, right, with lenses and the processor unit. So things like that. So this AI chip is going to make pictures like from your phone look phenomenal, even if you're an amateur taking them. So that's really, really cool. But we also now have some potential artificial intelligence inside our phone. One of the coolest features that they're going to come out with, which is going to be under the hood, and you as an end user aren't going to know it except for your experience is going to be better, is TensorFlow. TensorFlow is it stands next to the Tensor chip, and it's a single-use chip for security purposes. So we're going to have artificial intelligence running security breaches on your phone and blocking them before they become a potential really threat. So hopefully, with the new technology rolling out, we'll see less exploits across all the networks, right? And I'm sure that the other guys are going to be quick to follow. And if Google's been running this chip inside their data centers already, be nice to know if they're going to open that chip up to the market and be a chip manufacturer, or if they're going to keep it for themselves. But if Google plays suit like they normally do, you know that they'll let people write software for that chip, right? So it's a single-use chip, AI chip, that's going to go on the phone. Actually, the AI chip's not a single-use chip. TensorFlow is a single-use chip. They'll be putting more single-use chips on that phone, I think, over time. But then that'll start bleeding into other technologies, right? So later on today, we're going to be talking about automation in vehicles and things like that. So the fact that Google's making an AI-specific chip I think, is huge for us in the future, and it's going to continue to add on. This is probably, I would say, probably the biggest move forward for phone technology since the Apple came out, right? If we're going to do artificial intelligence inside of our phones, then it's huge. So think about real-time translation in text messages, right? From English to Spanish or French to English, all those things. I think we're not too far away from seeing a world where I can talk my native language and the person on the other end of the phone hears their native language in real time, right? I think artificial intelligence chips and these new technology, those kinds of functions start becoming reality, right? So we all talk about today's world where we have this, fantastic communication structure, and that's absolutely true. But there's still big gaps in communication with different language barriers and things like that. So super excited about this new chip and what it means to the market. I'm also really excited about TensorFlow as it becomes more adopted, and artificial intelligence firewalls and things like that become more and more prevalent. Prevalent, is that the right word? Prevalent? It sounds like a strange word to me for some reason. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. You'll notice, if you watch the show a lot, you'll notice I'm back in polos. I moved from my button-up shirts to polos when COVID hit because I got lazy. But I'm back in polos right now often because I'm doing a lot of physical therapy for my shoulder surgery. I'm out of the brace, and the doctor's not happy about that, but he'll get over it, I'm sure. Moving on to our next topic, smart trucks. So we've all, since the Jetsons when we were little kids, right, we've all thought about self-driving cars and flying cars, and the future's not quite up to what it was promised us to be in the 80s, but it's getting closer every single day. And so there's a company called Aurora, and it's a bunch of different guys got together, or firms got together. 3 veterans, not a bunch, 3 veterans of the automated vehicle industry formed a new company called Aurora, and it's a startup, and they're developing self-driving cars. They went down that path, and so I find it hard to believe that they didn't see this right out of the gate. So they started on the path of making self-driving cars, and really they're trying to solve that last mile problem is what they started, is the Uber issue, right? What Uber is doing and replacing Uber drivers with automation. What they quickly realized is that the path to profitability is going to be way faster if they start working on trucks, long-haul trucks, which is a no-brainer. Right? The truck drivers get paid a lot more than the Uber drivers, I think. Over-the-road truckers get paid pretty well, right? And Uber drivers get paid decent livable wage if they hustle. They got to hustle to do it. But an over-the-road truck driver makes an upper middle class wage, I think, is at least my understanding of that industry. So they're going to be implementing self-driving cars, but they're going to be starting inside of the semi-trucks. And they think that by 2023 or 24, we'll see Aurora drivers on the road with these semis, right? So that's, man, right around the corner. And they believe that they'll be taking the hailing service, which is the cab service, the Uber services, will be just a few years after they get the trucks on the road. So this is fantastic. I wish it was coming a little sooner. My daughter's 14. She starts driving in 2 years. I really wish automated driving was 100% in play before she starts driving, so I don't have to go through the stressors that my parents went through when I started driving and destroying their vehicles. But, she's getting my wife's Jeep, so it's already kind of beat up. She can't really hurt it that much more. Aurora raised $2 billion in this process, so it's a serious play, and they're gonna. I really hope they knock it out of the park. I mean, it's a good group of team. It's a good team. They have a good project. And I think they're on the right ball now with the semi trucks, the 18-wheelers instead of the Uber, right? the taxi cab industry was just overturned by Uber not too long ago. Let's let it sit for a minute while we fix the trucking industry, and then go back and fix what's wrong with Uber with the self-driving cars. So staying on the topic of vehicles, an infrastructure bill could mandate the technology to prevent drunk driving. So think about this, comes right in line with this new tensor processor that Google's putting out. I think the breathalyzer might be gone in 10 or 20 years. I think that your phone or your screen or a camera inside your vehicle could tell if you're intoxicated by more than just alcohol, by the way your face slurs, by the dilation of your eyeballs, all of that stuff. I think they can tell with artificial intelligence and really great cameras if somebody's intoxicated at all. So right now, you got the breathalyzers in the cars, you can blow in them and they tell you if you've had too much alcohol or not. But there's, in our country, all kinds of new substances are becoming less frowned upon every single day, right? I've heard some states are allowing psychedelic mushrooms as being non-criminalized anymore. I've heard some communities even not criminalizing opioids. So, which is absolutely to each their own. I'm not a politician, so I'm not gonna talk about those things so much. But the technology mandate says that in the next, I think it's 3 years, the car manufacturers need to have technology built into the cars new that prevent somebody that had too much alcohol. And most people, including me, although I've done it more times than I care to admit, would say that any alcohol is too much alcohol before you get behind the wheel of a car. So, but that's pretty cool. So in 3 years, you're not gonna be able to drink and drive, but hopefully you have self-driving cars, so you can go out, have a couple cocktails, and hail the Uber that's in a little car's gonna come up and just take you home, and you're not even gonna have to see a person, right? Which is would have been phenomenal in my 20s, right? Would have saved me a lot of time and energy trying to do things I shouldn't have been doing. But anyway, moving on to the last topic for today. Again, on artificial intelligence, Intel invests in AI. They're doing a program in 18 different colleges creating artificial intelligence coursework. So facial recognition and things like that, which is, I think, going to be the beginning. Like when we really get into AI, it's going to be a lot of that kind of facial recognition. Access control systems, right? Who's allowed to be in a building, who's not allowed to be in a building, how many people are in the building. So this is, I was playing with a system about a year ago that was a little clunky at the time, but I think with these new processors and new technology coming on, so there's if you've had a building that's 10 or 15 floors and each floor is 100,000 square feet, so you got an 800,000 square feet, 700,000 square feet building. It would behoove you to know how many people are in your building at a time, right? And if in a case of an emergency, is the building completely evacuated? So these AI chips and high quality cameras can literally count how many people are walking in and how many people are walking out. This technology is available today. It's wildly expensive to get it done today, but I think in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see the price drop on, and not just drop dramatically on all of these cool features that right now are only reserved for the super wealthy. So that's all I have for today, folks. I appreciate you joining me. Again, if you want to join my text line community, 314-370-2871. That's today's episode of Clicks and Bricks. I know that we promised you a Q&A session today, but we had a little bit of a mishap. Nick is no longer with us and the producer, so we had to bring Chris and Dustin in to do the switching today, and we've got a potentially new producer here being trained. So we'll get back on track here soon. But until then, we're just gonna be doing headline news and moving forward. But I don't have anybody that's gathering the questions and dealing with the people that are asking the questions for the moment, at least. So that's it for today, and that's the reason for the change. I hope you enjoyed it. Other than that, we will talk to you later and get to work.